Access to funding can be truly transformative for governments, corporations, and individuals at the grassroots. The other day, I got on the food service app and ended up spending about $4 on a plate of chicken and fries from one of the most affordable restaurants in my country. I did a quick math. With over 700 million people living under $2.15 a day globally, that's about 1 in every 12 persons. The amount I spent on just one plate of food is what 2 people live on for a day. Statistically, the current situation is a much better improvement compared to the 1950s, where following the impact of the Second World War, a more worrisome 2 in 3 people lived on less than $1 a day. This disturbing reality challenged a group of people at the time to explore options like fundraising as a means to improve the quality of lives for those who were most in need. The success of this approach birthed the concept of Official Development Assistance, ODA, which essentially is a form of financial assistance by countries with more money to help countries who are most in need recover economically and lift citizens out of poverty. I am Abigail Anaza-Mark, a young, African, urban, educated, and curious woman who cannot be divorced from the socio-economic shifts around her and their resulting consequences. For years, the varying dispositions of authors and radio guests I have listened to on issues around national and international development, politics, and budgetary allocation have left me with an unsettled question. How impactful is foreign aid? Enrolling in the One Young World Academy to learn about official development assistance has provided me with useful answers. $3.4 trillion. That's how much has been contributed so far to support countries in the last 20 years. Where did all of that money go? And why is there still so much poverty, you may wonder? Opponents of the ODA amplify school of thought such as donors are using their fundings to buy influence. Governments of recipient countries are not effective and corrupt, and by subsidizing their finances through aid, we are allowing them get away with that. The narrative around aid is demoralizing. We do not want hand-me-downs. We just want to live dignifying lives and fulfill our potentials. While this school of thought holds some weight, it is also very true that with access to ODA between 1990 and 2017, a country like Ethiopia reduced maternal mortality by 70%, expanding its health infrastructure and workforce in rural communities. With access to ODA, stunting, a consequence of acute malnutrition, decreased from 43% in 2000 to 32% in 2022 in sub-Saharan Africa, showing significant progress in reducing hunger. Are you wondering if the buzz and heightened fear around HIV and AIDS in the early 2000s magically died? No, it did not. Thanks to ODA in the form of PEPFAR, the US President's emergency plan for AIDS relief, providing and subsidizing antiretrovirals for people living with the condition and significantly reducing the number of deaths by AIDS. But how long will it take a single country to raise the right sum to address just one socioeconomic challenge amidst others challenges competing for equal attention? Now, come to think of it, if we're able to get richer countries to continue with their ODA commitments, we would be closer to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and create a healthier, more equal and prosperous world for all to live in. But that's far from reality on the ground. We have seen weakening support among donor countries such as France, Germany, and the UK. For example, the proportion of aid going into African countries, that's 25.6%, is at its lowest in over 2 decades. This decline is influenced by the looming global financial crisis, high interest rates, climate change issues, and decreased trust in NGOs delivering impact on the ground. But that's where people like you and I come in. Young people are closer to the issues on the ground and understand exactly where the shoe pinches. We therefore need to, 1, amplify the fact that local challenges are global problems that affect us all in one way or another. We need to actively participate in ODA decision-making at both global and local levels to ensure that funding goes to address most pressing issues. We need to push for stronger accountability structures that ensure ODA flows at the grassroots are trackable and also measurable. We need to dig deeper into data and tell better stories about evidences of ODA creating meaningful impact on quality of life. We also need to join or build communities of people who care about these issues. As a young development practitioner, I am passionate about increasing access to quality education for girls and young women as a means to increase women's accessibility to socioeconomic opportunities and ultimately lift families out of poverty. Since 2018, through my initiative, She Solves Africa, 1,618 girls in southwestern Nigeria have been reached directly through experiential learning, intergenerational mentorship, data-driven advocacy, and recently, Futures methods. All of this would not have been possible without access to funding and non-funding support. My 2025 activism revolution, therefore, is to elevate and amplify the impact of national education budgetary allocation on gender equality and join forces with other activists to push for more funding as is required. If we cannot have peace without development, and we cannot have development without peace, then let's get to work advocating for more ODA to achieve one through the other. Thank you.